So after reading today's reports, I think it's fair to say that no matter what, the Eagles are moving on from Alshon Jeffery.
Yo, everybody, how you doing? King Dingbat here. So today we have come with the hell is that? It's a big ass dog. Dallas still stinks.
Yo, everybody, doing? King Dingbat here, and I hope everybody's having a great day. It's Friday, it's the weekend. You know what that means. Matrimonial booties, you know what I'm saying? Hey, baby, get the wine, it's fine. You know what's coming. That's right. It's the weekend. I love it. Now, before I get too distracted, I did get distracted. Holy crap. How long have I been standing here? 35 minutes like a dingbat drooling at the wall? My God. Man, bad things. Thinking about some very good bad things. I love it. Now, what I want to talk to you guys about today is basically a continuation of this whole Alshon Jeffery saga. I did a video the other day, and I was talking about the Eagles potentially using the default clause to get out of that contract. And if you don't know what the default clause is, and if you didn't get a chance to see that video, it's basically in Alshon Jeffery's contract. He can't go out and talk about the team, talk about the organization, talk about teammates. He can't do those things, or he can basically void the guarantees in his contract. And if the Eagles were to use that default clause saying he's the anonymous source, they could get out of the contract. The problem is that even though people are pretty sure it was Alshon Jeffery, like they said the Eagles are like 99% sure it was him, you got to prove it 100% beyond a reasonable doubt, and I don't know that they could. They used the default clause with Terrell Owens back in the day, but Terrell Owens was on TV doing it, so it was very easy to prove. It would be a lot harder to prove this with Alshon Jeffery. That said, there's another report today. And it's basically saying, and it's from The Athletic, saying that the Eagles are going to move on from Alshon Jeffery. They're looking to move him. And if they have to cut him, if they have to trade him, he's gone. He's gone. The Eagles are 99% sure, as I said, that he is the rat. He is the one that went to ESPN to complain about Carson Wentz. A league source told The Athletic that him and Carson Wentz's relationship is very testy. They don't see eye to eye on much things, and it's just not going to work. The Eagles feel that he has to be out of this locker room this year. And I'm not surprised at all. I talked about this. Me personally, if I thought he was the poison, I would move him at all costs. Okay, at all costs, because you can't have a poison affect that locker room. You saw when he went out, him and Nelson Aguilar, you saw how everything changed. The whole dynamic, the way Carson was coming off, the way you see him on the sideline, he just had more bounce to step. The young guys were loving Carson, and it just things just worked out and looked a lot better. When Alshon was on the field, him and Nelson, it's just Nelson, thank God he's gone. But, sometimes it looked like they didn't want to be there, hardly walking, heads looking down, just not engaged, you know what I mean? And this report by The Athletic is basically saying they're looking to move him. They got to get him out. They got to get out of his contract. And the question is going to be, how sure are they that they are willing to cut him at all costs? Because a lot of people don't think that the Eagles will eat $26 million in dead cap money to move him. And to me, it's hard to believe that they would too. If they wait till June 1st, they could cut him for $16 million, but that's still a lot of money. And let me say this, if they cut him and ate $26 million in dead money, that would be the highest dead money cap hit in the history of the NFL. No team has ever took a cap hit that high. But if he's a bad seed, if he's poison in the locker room, you can't have that. You can't have that. And he may not want to go on the physically unable to perform list or on the IR. He may want to play. So you can't have a player saying, hey, I'm healthy, but you're keeping me on the IR for the cap reasons. It's not going to work. So I think at the end of the day, I think the Eagles are going to try to move him. Now, The Athletic was talking about how he'd be a perfect fit for the Jets, and maybe the Jets would be interested in trading him. I know there's been talk about him in Buffalo. Somebody can afford to take on his salary. The question is, will they? I think the Liz Frank injury, I think that's the problem with trading him. That's why I think it's going to be hard to trade him, because that Liz Frank injury, teams may not want to take a chance on you, especially when you're 30 years old. But the question is going to be, will the Eagles cut him for $26 million in dead money hit, or 16 if they wait till after June 1st? I think they will. I think they will, and I think you have to. I think you have to, because if the whole team believes that he's the guy, that he's the poison, you got to. Now, in this Athletic article, they said that Alshon Jeffery would also welcome a change, would like to go. So if that's the case, maybe he can help the Eagles work something out if need be, because he just wants to get out. I will say this. His, I think, agent came out later and said that Alshon loves playing in Philly. He wants to stay in Philly. But every agent's going to say that. That's the proper thing to say. So who knows? Who knows what the hell's going on? But at this point, with where there's smoke, there's too much fire. I think Alshon Jeffery was probably the guy that ratted. I think Alshon Jeffery, and I can't prove it 100%, okay? I'm just saying, based upon the way everything seems to be laying out, it seems like it was him. Seems like the Eagles know it was him. The Eagles wanted him to go, and that's just the way it's going to be, and he's going to go. I think the Eagles are going to use defense in free agency early, get a corner. They're going to get a wide receiver in the first round, and then we'll see what else they do. Brashard Perryman, I have a video coming out on him versus Robbie Anderson, which one to take later on, one of my next few videos. But I'm changing the subject now. There is one other possible scenario for the Eagles that could allow them to basically not have to eat all that money at once, and that is the CBA. As you guys know, the owners association, the owners agreed to a new CBA. They voted on it and agreed to it. Now the player union has to vote and agree to it. I'm not sure they will, but if the CBA gets done quickly, the Eagles would then be able to once again use a post-June designation to cut him. And what that would do is, because you have so many years left on the CBA, you could spread that $26 million over the year. And if you could do that, there's not going to be a problem. The Eagles are going to cut him, and that's the end of the story. So we would like to see a new CBA get done, because if it does, then the Eagles are going to move on from Alshon 100%. It's not going to be a problem whether they trade him or not. They're not going to have to worry about that $26 million. They just spread it over the years, and out he goes. So keep an eye on that. Now, the CBA thing is interesting too, because they're saying they want to add an extra playoff team and 17-week schedule. I'm a little bit like, if I like it or not. I don't like the idea of just one team getting a bye. I like the idea of two teams getting a bye, or maybe have three teams get a bye. But, it is what it is. I'll take it, I guess. I'm not going to complain about more football, more playoff teams. It'll be fun. But that CBA could be the key to the Eagles being able to get rid of Alshon Jeffery without having to eat a huge amount of money in dead cap hit. Now, remember, the dead cap hit's $26 million, but it will also save at the same time $10 million in your salary cap. So that's something to remember. I think the Giants ate $15 million, if I'm correct, to trade Odell Beckham last year. So it happens. It's something that happens. But this is an interesting report at an interesting time, and where there's smoke, there's fire. I think this is the end for Alshon Jeffery. I can't 100% say he was a rat, because I don't know, but everybody seems to think so. And there was a podcast on Bleeding Green Nation the other day, and they were talking about saying, look, the Eagles are going to eat the money if they have. They'll eat $26 million if they have to. They just don't want him back. And if that's the case, well, then he's gone. And I think it's probably the case, which means we are going to revamp this wide receiving core. Hopefully we get younger and faster. That's the most important thing. So let me know what you guys think. Do you buy this story? Is this report true? Is this the beginning of the end for Alshon Jeffery? With that said, take care. Talk to you later. And don't be a dingbat.